What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Cardinal Sports Zone and Ringside podcast collaboration called the Wednesday Night Wrestling Recap. We are your hosts, Jeremy Wallman,
Sean Barber.
Yeah, y'all have to introduce yourselves if y'all want to be.
I couldn't hear Sean.
You can't hear him?
Can you hear me?
Nope. Same as it was the one time we had the issue.
Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Well, more importantly, can everybody out there in wrestling land hear Sean? If so, that's fine.
I'm Joe Wallman. Acknowledge me.
He's Joe Wallman.
Sean acknowledged.
Well, it's always great to start off the show with technical difficulties. You all let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear Sean. Sean, say more stuff.
It's good to be here. This is my first episode.
Yeah, I can hear him through your microphone.
I don't know what's going on. All right. Well, we'll get Sean's input here. And again, we're your hosts, Jeremy Wallman, Sean Barber, Joe Wallman. The chat line is open for all of your comments. We will answer all of your questions in real time to get your reactions. If you are a member of the Ringside group chat on Twitter, you have the opportunity to call in too. If you want to call in, go ahead and shoot us a message in that group chat. We got some questions of the nights going on, as you all can see. Lots of criticism on theme songs here as of late. Death Rebel just remixing everything. Let's see what we got on the chat line. I can't hear you, Jeremy, but I can hear you, Jeremy, but not Sean. Well, that's probably by design. No, I have to try to figure out. Y'all give me a second. Let's see. No, that's not what I want. This is what I want. All right, Sean, go ahead and say something again.
Can you hear me now?
Can you all hear Sean now?
I can't, but.
You can't? Hold on.
No. I just hear him through your mic.
Well, thankfully, Sean's. All right, we get back on. Are we back on? Can you hear us now?
Can't hear Sean.
Still can't hear Sean. Well, that's.
Nope.
You hear that? Can you hear this?
No. Through Jeremy's microphone.
Well, we'll swing the microphone. I'm not dealing with this crap tonight. Well, Sean, just get back in your regular spot. There, on it. And I'll switch the. I don't know why. Why on earth we have so many problems? I know one more thing I can check real quick. Questions of the night, though, below. What would your theme song be in life? If you could walk into any room, we touched on this a little bit with Chris and Nikki. That's perfect. We can't see Sean. There we go. But we can't see the logo. Damn on it. I worked hard on that. But what would yours be? Secondly, you get to book Evolution yourself. Any company, give me 6 matches. And then last but not least, who's the fourth? Louisville Charlie's in the rehabilitation center. Let's get it on, good people. Absolutely. All right. Cool. Let me check one thing real quick. Joey, trying to see what we can do while I'm checking out the stuff. Oh, settings. Let me try this. While we're in here, stupid thing.
That's weird that it even changes, like if you don't change anything.
Yeah, I don't change anything. Input, output, Zoom audio, USB, input, mic check. John.
Check. Can you hear me?
Through Jeremy's microphone.
So weird because it doesn't. All right, try now.
Can you hear me now?
Nope, still through your microphone, Jeremy.
Let me try something. Oh no, because they're saying they can't hear him either. I was gonna say. The only thing I can think of is because this only happens when we reuse the templates.
A link.
I may just have to go fresh every week. It's all good. We'll get you. Look, we'll get Sean on here for his thoughts. He's close to the microphone. Pause. I had to go out today. Interesting story. Went out today and bought me a tablet to be able to stream stuff on the TV, since the one I bought Sean is literally at his house being used to cover all of his nudie mags under his bed. So went out and got a new one, and it does everything we want it to do. We'll get everything else going on. Sorry about this. Let's pull off the lower third or the captions, and let's get to business. Monday Night Goldberg. This past week, we got more Goldberg. It was short. It was not so sweet. It was to a point that I don't think anybody. The fact that they even mentioned to him what happens if you win the title, he's like, "Well, we'll see what's next." I'm tired of what's next. I'm tired of what's last. I do want to see Goldberg shot off. I want him to have his blaze of glory, but they have done this all wrong. They've completely ruined it to me. The King and the Queen of the Ring finals were set. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. It doesn't seem like the company's worried about the Saudi Arabia situation. I feel like it's probably because Saudi Arabia can handle themselves militarily. I know that's not a word, but I don't think anybody wants to mess with them. So I think they're going to be safe out there in Saudi. The Cena pipe bomb on SmackDown, it was crazy. There were so many callbacks during that. It was a great time. And Joey posed a question earlier, and again, we're just talking about some of the talking points tonight. Cena to 18. Is he going to stop at 17, or is he going to go to 18? We'll talk about that here in a few. Monday Night Raw this week started off with a very good Seth Rollins promo. I do know that a lot of the fans are growing frustrated with the lack of storyline behind the group. We need to know why the group's together. What do they do? What's their point? Are they fighting crime? Are they going to karaoke night at Akiko's? Like we never know what they're really doing. Jade versus Roxanne. Roxanne has proved once again that she is a primetime player. And I was really worried about them not calling her up as quickly as they should have, but they, as far as I can see, they've done right, because now she's a tag team women's tag team champion without even having to fight for it with the Giant Gonzalez. So that's pretty cool. Jade versus Roxanne was an amazing match. As much as Jade continues to improve, Roxanne really carried her during that match, and Jade is going to the finals of that tournament. Becky versus Bayley was a really good match. Nice callback at the ending with Lyra. Who fought in the other women's final Queen of the Ring match?
Asuka beat. Who did she beat?
So it doesn't at this point. It doesn't matter. It's Alexa Bliss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's Jade versus Asuka at Night of Champions, which is cool. We got a 5-star match from Jay and Cody, but I hate seeing Jay lose again after losing so recently. But now we've got Cody versus Orton. So here's where we stand for Night of Champions. Raquel versus Rhea in a street fight. Love it. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Super ironic there that Dominic and AJ gets pulled for a guy that never wanted to go to Saudi Arabia or perform in Saudi Arabia. It sounded like today I listened. Cody and KO did the latest version of What Do You Want to Talk About, presented by Fanatics, and KO kind of let it slip that Sammy was with them in Saudi a couple of years ago when they went. I don't know if that was supposed to be known or not, but it is what it is.
I just don't think Sammy, with his religion, was allowed to be. And I don't know that it was he didn't want to go, as he just wasn't allowed to. That he would be shot on sight if they found him there.
Yeah. So kind of really ironic, and Karrion Kross getting this opportunity, he's going to knock it out of the park. This is great for him and his career. Then you've got Fatu versus Solo. Fatu versus Sikoa for the U.S. title. A U.S. title match in Saudi Arabia. That's rich. Then the aforementioned Asuka versus Jade, Orton and Cody, and Cena versus Punk for the WWE title. Y'all can hear Joey though, right? Matthew Holland says hi, Squidward.
Hi, SpongeBob.
Tom Jeffrey says Jade
Versus
Asuka Snooze Fest.
he watches too much AEW.
It's going to be lit. Yeah. Can't wait to recap the 42 17-man tag matches they had on Dynamite this past week. So, but y'all can hear Joey though, right? Somebody shoot me a comment real quick. Let me know y'all can hear Broseph, or as we call him, Wazilla. And we'll let Joey get started though with this part. I'm about to ask him. You had an interesting before we do our predictions, and so I can find out that people can hear you as well. You posed an interesting question earlier, so go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
Well, I just was watching last night, and I was NXT and the Night of Champions commercial aired, and I don't know, just think different things. Of course, I don't necessarily believe that this would happen, but scenario that plays is like, what if CM Punk does win at Night of Champions? CM Punk wins, right? Then maybe the plan all along was for Cena to, win the title, become number 17, greatest of all time, most title wins. To only lose it to CM Punk, but then again, win it back. Now there's two. Now it's not just, there was just one in between. Now he's 18-time champion. And they bill it as correct me if I'm wrong, have they not billed this as for the last time ever, John Cena versus CM Punk?
I think all of Cena's matches have been billed for the last time, but yes.
What if it's not? Or what if, even better, CM Punk wins it and Rollins catches in and beats CM Punk for it? Even better.
Okay.
I don't know. Just throwing crap up against the wall and see what sticks.
All right, let's go through the lineup really quickly. Raquel versus Rhea. I think Rhea wins this in a landslide. Sean, do you agree?
I agree.
You can't, ladies and gentlemen, you cannot get that kind of commentary just anywhere. Joey, what about you?
I want to say I 100% agree, but there's always the Roxanne factor because it is a street fight. So she can get involved, but maybe they utilize that to make Rhea look even more dominant. Even with outside interference, she still manages to come through.
Okay.
I can see either way.
Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. This one's difficult for me because I don't think you put Kross on the main pay-per-view card. And by the way, a 6-match PLE instead of your typical Triple H 5. But I don't think you put Kross on the main show without having him go over. But I mean, and that would further the Sammy doing the I'm not good enough type thing he's been doing lately, and maybe foreshadow a little bit later on question. Maybe he goes over to Seth for some guidance. Who knows? I think Kross has to win this match. Joey?
Yeah, I think so too. Because why put the Sammy beating him could happen on Monday Night Raw. If you're listening to the crowds everywhere cheering every time Karrion Kross comes out, the pop he's getting because the fans are getting behind him. You put him on this match, you have him go over.
All right, Sean. If you disagree, just raise your hand and I'll give you the mic. If you agree, we'll just assume that you agree. Okay.
No, I agree, except, but I think I actually can see what will happen possibly is that Sammy will come to him on Monday Night Raw after he loses and join Karrion Kross.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's what I think will happen. I could see a scenario where Sammy wins, and then Cross gets more angry and recruits somebody else to take out Sammy. Now, who that would be, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Let's try this real quick. Sean, speak into the other microphone.
Can you hear me?
No, I know you can't, but I want to see if he comes through on some of the other things. Okay. All right. Let's try this real quick. Sean, speak into the other microphone.
Can you hear me?
No, I know you can't, but I want to see if he comes through on. Okay, it seemed to have come through on Twitch. I don't know why it's not coming through on the other one. Anyway, we'll get it fixed for next time. I'll just start refreshing the templates. I know it's a little bit more work, but I can do it. Sorry.
So goofy.
So goofy. Nobody heard you say that, so I'm gonna pretend like I said it myself. Fatu and Solo. I mean, Fatu's got to win this match. Nope. I think that we see the debut of Hikuleu with Solo, and Solo wins the United States Championship. Okay, Sean's agreeing. Joey?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the way it's got to go. Unless it's just a DQ. We see the debut of Hikuleo.
Sure.
And there's a DQ, but I don't think Jacob comes out unscathed. He's beat down or loses the title. I don't know that you pull the title off of him just yet, but there's at least a beat down.
Absolutely. Asuka and Jade. Jade's winning this, I think. Asuka doesn't need this accolade. She's pretty much a made woman, in my opinion, as it is. Jade needs something to get her career jump started. Yes, she's been in a lot of high profile. Sean, will you turn up my mic, please? Just a little bit. Sure, she's been in. I just love hearing myself. Sure, she's been in a lot of high profile feuds and matches and stuff, but other than she was tag team champion, right? For a minute.
Mm-hmm.
She's not really done anything other than that. So she needs Queen of the Ring so she can go on to SummerSlam and win the women's championship and then be immediately cashed in on by Naomi. This is the way I feel like it's going. Orton versus Cody. If you didn't hate Cody enough already going into this, wait till he's anointed King Cody. Or do we see does the K in RKO stand for King? Randall King Orton. I don't know. This match is really one that I'm having a hard time with, Sean and Joey, because nobody wants to see Cena and Orton again so quickly after them wrestling, and vice versa. Nobody wants to see Cena and Cody so quickly, unless there's something more to it. I don't know. I'm not going to pick a winner on this. I think Cody's going to win, but I can see it going like Sean. I can see it going either way. Like Sean's opinion, not like Sean goes either way.
Yeah, I'm calling King Orton out of this one.
Okay.
And on the last one, I actually do think Asuka wins. I don't know how they run all the storylines after that, but
it just doesn't make it for Asuka to win. Not to interrupt you, but for Asuka to win, that means she's either going to have to fight Tiffany. There's no story there, or Io. There's no story there.
There's a huge story there with her and Io.
Okay,
being in damage control, and they even at backstage when she comes, if you win, we always talked about this in damage control, and Asuka was like, we're not in damage control anymore.
Okay, so I know you love damage control, and I love damage control, but 99% of the WWE universe could give two craps less about damage control. So
I would be all in for a SummerSlam match between those two.
It would be a great match. Don't get me. I agree with you there. It'd be
I think you can still get Jade there, and I just don't think everybody wants to. Even though she's been there for a year or so. she's not been like every week for a year or so, and I just don't know that I don't know that it's the time that you put her up in the main title picture. I think she should have a women's U.S. title run before she goes up into the main picture, because she still does have, like you said, Roxanne carried her throughout a lot of that match. Like I don't know that she's there yet. And Asuka obviously is, and Asuka's on the tail end of her career too.
Cash, what's up? Says CSZ, what's up, family? This is CSZ in Ringside. Let's not get it twisted. But what's up, Cash? Tom Jeffries makes a point, and I hate to agree with Tom, mostly
He's
because
right.
he's an AEW fan.
Mhm.
And he never gets me the information about my super box fast enough. But he says Night of Champions was a WCW pay-per-view, which all belts were defended. There's only 2 title matches out of the 6, I believe, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
US title and the
Fatu and Solo, Cena and Punk.
And what's up to our guy, photographer extraordinaire, Keith Russell in the building. I'd like this. It's not Night of Stars or Night of People on the cusp of breaking out. It's Night of Champions. There should be more championship matches. So I agree 1,000% there. Remember, I want you all to answer those questions of the night. I'll go ahead and put those back across the bottom for a little bit. Answer those in the chat line. So we got some good stuff to talk about later on. Here, the NXT report from last night: Trick versus Briggs, solid match. Joe Hendry returns at the end. He's another guy that I'm afraid that's suffering from. Which, by the way, before I forget, we want to send out our deepest, our wellest wishes on recovery for 2 WWE superstars, Otis and Chad Gable. Conspicuous by his absence going forward will be El Grande Americano as well, which it 1,000% reveals who El Grande is, right?
No, he's just there helping him out. Like he's like a caregiver.
I seem to think it gives away that El Grande Americano is none other than Otis.
Oh,
I think that's what that gives away there. No, but back to the NXT.
Well,
Joe versus Trick, July 20th at Slammiversary. We'll be watching it here at my house unless my box doesn't work. Shout out to Tom again. Miles Bourne definitely needs a manager. He had a little thing backstage last night, and it was hard to listen to. Literally.
Well, they just got to get him. They got to get him out there, get people used to it. That's what's going. I mean, that's what they're doing.
I wanted to fork my ears. It was so bad.
Sean just wants to fork anything.
Fair enough. And Jasper Troy comes in again, and he smashes Javon Evans. I'm still not on the Jasper Troy train. Just think he's another big guy. We've already got they would have done better if they would have waited to debut him after Oba was raised to the main roster. We saw the match already. We don't need to see it again. There's not anything at the moment unique about Jasper Troy. He don't really talk too much. I'm not a big fan there. Noam Dar had to vacate the Heritage Cup, which meant Stacks got an opportunity at the Heritage Cup against Question Mark. Well, Question Mark ended up being Tony D. Angelo, and Stacks won that match very questionably. The Fatal 4-Way for Evolution match was JC Fatal 4-Way for Evolution match versus JC was Lash versus Izzy versus Jada versus Jordan. Now I want to say something real quick. We talked last week. I hadn't heard the new music. I don't remember what happened last week, but I didn't hear it. I heard it last night. Big fan. I like it. They took her old music and added a little bit of umph to it. And they def rebelled it up a little bit, but they didn't def rebel it too much. Really liked her music. We're going to go to the OVW report. As you can see, is by our guy Chris Runyon, who's going to be in the studio next week. We're going to add, we'll all be in the studio next week so we can oversee this momentous occasion of adding a new member to to the recap family, so we're excited about it. I don't know that he'll be able to do every show, but to have another alternate would be really good for us to have. Can't wait for that to happen. We'll have that live on TV. This is one of the things. When we started doing the spinoff show, I wanted to do more angles and incorporate more entertainment into the show. Having Chris on, that's going to be fun. And if y'all have any ideas, send them to us, and we'll rip them off and do them. Chris sent us his report, top 5 things to watch as we draw closer to Independence Rage on Tuesday, a special Tuesday episode on July 1st. First question, is the revolution over? God, I hope so. OVW has started a tournament for the now vacated OVW Heavyweight Championship that will conclude at Independence Rage. Crixus and Tony Gunn are slated to take on one another this Thursday night to reach the final of the tournament. Wow. But both have seemed to be doing and going their separate ways without any signs of Doug Basham looming in the background or the Revolution music or shirts being heard or seen. I really hope that crap's over. Sorry, Chris. I know that you think Doug's your daddy and you get creamy thinking about him, but that's probably one of the last times I get to do that. We'll explain why next week. Point number 2, Freya the Slayer versus Sophia Rose, round 2 for the OVW Women's Championship. Hard Reset had a DQ finish, but this time he believes the bar will be raised to higher stakes at Independence Rage. He expects no disqualifications. Did Hickey type this up? Or Chris must have used talks to text to what the heck ever it's called. Talk to text. I feel like I'm using it right now. Age, I expect a no disqualification match. What he meant is, and I expect a no disqualification match or some stipulation to ensure a conclusive finish. Sophia is developing an edge that is must needed to take down the Amazon known as Freya. I don't know what he was trying to say there, but whatever. Number 3, the trifecta will continue its dominance going into Independence Rage with both the OVW Tag Team titles and the OVW Media Championship. All 3 members hold the gold in OVW. The OVW Rush Division champion, Seductive Steven Still, has the entire Rush Division after him since his shocking win in the ladder match at Hard Reset at Independence Rage. We will closely see how Steven is capable, if Steven is capable of defending his championship, and the likelihood that he can get under 169 pounds on the scale, as was reported by CEO Al Snow past Thursday night at Rise. If not, that title will be vacated. I didn't know that the Rush Division championship was 470 and under. Kind of makes you wonder how he was allowed, because he's a big boy. So I imagine that they're going to do something kind of gimmick with the scale to get him under. It was pretty funny to see him come out, shake his boobs, and I thought it was Higgy winning the championship. And last but not least, what new stars will emerge from Independence Rage? Who's going to step up and show out to challenge current OVW United States champion Eric Surge? And that's a beautiful championship. They rebranded the national championship and they now call it, been that way for about a month now, the United States Championship. Let's get to TNA and our correspondent Clint Carroll from WrestleVision. On this week's episode, they fought for a future Knockouts Women's Championship match with a Knockouts Battle Royal. They also have a blow-off of Santana. Oh, so that's coming up this week, because he went to the tapings, because he goes to every taping. So no spoilers. So I like that. They also have a blow-off of the Santana versus AJ Francis in a street fight. And all the infighting between Mustafa Ali and all his people as John Schuyler. He challenges John Schuyler in a call to arms match, and the Hardys are in tag team action against the Northern Armory. Everything leading only a few weeks away from Slammiversary. Joe Hendry getting his rematch for his world title. And where does Santana fall into the mix? Short, sweet, to the point. Clint, appreciate that. We'll have to have you on at some point going future to deliver your report, but I like it this way. where I can get these out. Shoot them out quick. AEW report from Tom Jeffries. Okay. Sean, wake up. We're talking about Dynamite, so you can go back to sleep in a few minutes. Hangman Page does a promo in Spanish for the crowd in Mexico City that was no bueno. Okada defeated Mark Briscoe. Yeah. Mystico beats MJF by disqualification after MJF attacks the ref, and he and the Hurt Syndicate takes the mask off of Mr. Mystico. Speaking of boring and predictable, Mercedes Moné defeats Zeuxis for the CMLL Women's Championship, and now she's got 42 titles. And also, there was a 10-man tag match and a 14-man tag match. Yeah, it was no bueno. So, let's thank you for all the correspondence, Clint, Chris, and Tom, for giving us your opinions. Y'all, we got to the point of the night where we're going to ask you our questions of the night. The first question of the night, again, we all kind of went over this the other day. I'm interested to see if Joey or Sean's has changed. We want you all to answer this too. First question is, you walk through life. You've got to think, every time you open a door, a garage door, a front door, a bathroom door. Shout out to Nikki V for shutting the bathroom door.
No, I shut it.
Oh, you shut it. But he wasn't in there doing his thing with the door open.
No, but he left the door open after he'd done his thing.
Yeah, that was horrible. But what would your theme song be? And Sean, I'm going to let you go first while I catch up on the chat line. Let the people know.
I'm going to keep it the same. I'm going to go Batista, I Walk Alone. That song it works for me in more ways than one.
You know what's weird? Is that he sounds the same talking into your microphone as he does the other ones.
How is that possible?
No, he just talked louder then, but Jeremy's not having to talk very loud and can hear him playing his day.
You can hear me fine, right?
Yeah. Sean may be the problem. You need to reboot Sean.
Sean's hit the button, Sean. Did you hear that, Joey?
Nope.
Okay, so Sean's messed up everything. All right. Wes Brocky says, quick question, does the person have to be male or female for the Seth faction? Nope, don't have to. There's no restriction. Co-founder, Ringside Podcast, Daniel Spencer, shouts TNA, which we love TNA here. And the promotion. Wes Brocky says his theme would be AC/DC Thunderstruck. All right, Daniel Spencer says that may or may not be AJ Francis's best match of all time. Must see. I can't wait to see it. We're gonna have Daniel in here in a couple weeks too. He hadn't agreed to it, but I'm going ahead and telling him now. Huh?
Can you still hear me? My thing just popped up in the air. Okay. I thought maybe I got kicked out.
Listen, I may be in the minority here, but I love First Class. I didn't like the old iteration of it, but Casey Navarro adds something to it. I'm not really sure what it is yet. He's really good at being a heel, but I know that he's not heel by nature. He was on Busted Open today with Tommy Dreamer and Dave LaGreca, and I was already a big fan of him. Listening to him today on Busted Open made me an even bigger fan. Even Tommy was messing with him, telling him, you're not talking like a heel. You're being too nice, And of course, Dave LaGreca is just cussing him out left and right. I love it. That's just the way he is. But okay, AJ Francis is, and I'll say this, and this is not as a knock. I'm not really sure that you'd have to do a lot as AJ Francis to have the best match of your lifetime. Not a whole lot of. I can't think of any decent, and it's yes, he adds money. Casey Navarro adds money.
I only remember one good AJ Francis spot in all the matches I've seen of his, and he had a dude on his back, and he had it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That's the only spot I can never remember his, other than the flop.
Yeah, I don't remember the match. My favorite AJ Francis moment in WWE was when they shot out the text that said, "We wish him the best in his future endeavors." But I loved seeing him show up in TNA. He's been an asset there. Tom Jeffries wants to know, hey, ask the ref. By the way, you all know from watching Ringside that me and Daniel have always been mortal enemies on the show, right? And I hate to give him any kind of props, but he's been doing a fantastic job on reffing it up with the guys, and that's the reason why he's not doing Ringside and we're doing it by ourselves, is because he's got more projects. Okay, Wes Brocky's going to give his Evolution match. Okay. All right. And we'll get to that in a second. That's your dream pay-per-view? All he did was put a bunch of indie people.
I love him.
Yeah, he's special. He really is. Daniel, Tom Jeffries wants to know if TNA is coming to town anytime soon. All right, for Wes, and again, we want y'all's theme songs.
Shoot!
For Wes, he said Evolution. For him, it's J-Rod versus Freya in a Heck in the Cell match. Lovely Miss Larkin versus Sophia Rose in a ladder match. Ariana Grace versus Killer Kelly in a ladder match. And Indy Hartwell versus Rosemary in a casket match. And Jordan Grace versus Jackie Jane. JC Jane for the title. Wendy Chu versus Lola Vice in an I Quit match. Wes, brother, I'm quitting right now for you. And Daniel Spencer says, not soon, but maybe in 2026 for TNA.
Wendy Chu versus Lola Vice.
That's his dream.
That'll put butts in seats.
That'll actually put people to sleep.
Okay. And then the third question, who's going to be the fourth? Sorry, that's the second question. Who's going to be the fourth? I think, here's what I think they should do. I think they should put somebody young. Like every good faction's got your old cats and your young ones. And I know that Braun Breaker's a young one, but when they did it the first time with the Evolution, they had two young ones. And Ethan Page will be perfect for that faction. Sean, how about you?
I mean, I've seen
talking to my stick
speculation that Ricky Saints is one they're also looking at, and I think he would be good as a heel. We've seen him as a heel in another company, and he's also in that same age range, and it'd be a good way to bring him up to the main roster. But I would probably say Ethan Page because he's been killing it down in NXT. It's time for him to come up.
Wes says, my bad, spell check got him, not the rest. And breaking news right here on the Wednesday Night's Wrestling Recap with Ringside and CSZ. It's not going to be at Paris Town Hall. When TNA comes back, they're coming to a bigger place. That screams
Freedom Hall.
Freedom Hall. That screams Broadbent Arena. That screams the Yum Center. I can't wait. And y'all know I'll be there.
It screams possible pay-per-view.
Possible pay-per-view. I like that.
I threw out an interesting fourth yesterday. I thought Tony D'Angelo. I mean, he kind of fits that. Here's the thing with Ricky Saints. He doesn't scream like mob mentality. Like that's the kind of thing that Seth's group, is like that mob mentality. Ricky Saints doesn't do that for me. Ethan Page does. Karrion Kross does. And even Sami Zayn, if he flips heel, like this ain't working, I got to try something else. That does. And there's a lot of built-in new storylines with Sami Zayn crossing over, no pun intended, to the group.
Wes Brocky says, I'm shocked he didn't say Crixus. He says Karrion Kross for him to join Seth. I don't think that's a bad one, and I agree with what Joey said on that. And now I'm going to go first. I normally let y'all go first, but I'm going to go ahead and book Evolution really quickly. First match, winner takes all tag title match. You get the Meta Girls, Jakara, which is no longer there, and Lash, versus Megan Bain and Penelope Ford, versus Lita and Trish, versus the Bellas, versus the Iconics for the tag team championship. All the tag titles are on the line, including the AEW ones that I feel like are going to be instituted soon. I think that's great. Match number 2, we talked about this earlier a little bit. Damage Control comes out. Kyrie, Dakota Kai, Asuka, Io, Bailey all come out. They promote it as a Damage Control's last hurrah, so everybody thinks it's 5-on-5, but it's not. Because as the other 4 go to the ring, Bailey stands up at top and says, "Oh, this is not 5-on-5, it's 4-on-4. And here's my 3 girls." And Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha come out. So it's the 4 horsewomen versus Damage Control, and a Damage Control leaves wrestling match, I guess. Third match of the night, we've got a TNA Women's Championship match. Jade Cargill versus JC Jane versus Jordan Grace versus Masha Slamovich. Another winner takes all. Let's do that one winner takes all too, because either Jordan or JC will have that, and Jade may have a championship at that point as well. Another winner takes all match. Tiffany Stratton versus Liv Morgan versus Toni Storm versus Mariah May. And I think that would be pretty awesome. Match number 5, it's a Money in the Bank match where you have Bianca Belair, Jazz, Ivory, and Molly. I don't know why I said Money in the Bank. This is not Money in the Bank. This is just a regular 8 woman tag match. Bianca Belair, Jazz, Ivory, and Molly Holly versus Natty, Beth Phoenix, Naomi, and Santina Marella.
Oh.
And last but not least, a mega Extreme Rules match where we see Max the Impaler versus Chris Statlander versus Rhea Ripley versus J-Rod versus Raquel Rodriguez versus ODB versus Awesome Kong versus China.
Oh.
Yeah, we're bringing people back from it is what it is. We're bringing them back. So that was kind of, and I know I left a ton of people off the card, but I tried to get as many people on as possible and try to get as many, like a variety. I think that was the point of this, was to like put your dream card. So I'm honestly, how dare Wes Brocky not include Hollywood Haley J? How did I forget? You know what? Put Haley J in that last match with all the super women. I'd love to see her knock a couple people around with that the Saka rocks. All right, Joey, do you want to go next, or do you want Sean to?
No, I can go next real quick.
All right, Joey's going next.
And again, I've been sick all day, so I just kind of threw this together 5 minutes before the show. Excuse me. I would have a triple threat match just because it's all been leading to this between Jade, Naomi, and Bianca. No title necessarily on the line, no stipulation needed. Just them 3 getting down in the ring and settling it once for all. Tables, ladders, and chairs match: Stephanie Vaquer versus Charlotte. I think that's going to end up being a banger match at some point, because I think they will cross paths. And Stephanie Vaquer is she's going to challenge Charlotte for that GOAT status at some point, I believe. And again, I left people off this too. I just was trying to think of everybody.
How did I leave off Stephanie Vaquer? Put her in that match at the end too with Haley.
I left off Roxanne, not intentionally, but it is what it is. This is just a match I would like to see, just because I mean we've kind of already saw it in like a qualifying, but I'd love to see Alexa. Anytime there's a women's pay-per-view, I want Alexa Bliss on it. Alexa versus Julia. We could add in Roxanne to that. Just a good old-fashioned triple threat. Then a hardcore match. Asuka versus Megan Bayne versus Rhea Ripley. That would be dope. All three hard hitters. Add in the hardcore element. Some tables, chairs, kendo sticks. What do they call those? Light bulbs that they hit. Just everything. Everything you can imagine. Yeah, thank you. Now, this one would just be because I don't really like either one of them, but I would like to see them beat each other's butts. Mid-card title versus mid-card title from WWE and AEW. Becky Lynch versus Mercedes Moné in a cage. Beat the crap out of each other. Bloody each other's up. And then main event, title versus title versus title versus title. Fatal four-way. Tiffany Stratton versus Toni Storm versus Io Sky versus Masha Slamovich. Winner takes all. And again, left quite a few people out, but only 6 matches. And I had 5 minutes, allotted myself 5 minutes to come up with a card. That means you, Sean.
All right. My main event is going to be the 4 horsewomen fatal 4-way for the title.
I can't hardly hear it, dude.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Better. Talk loud.
So my main event is going to be a fatal 4-way for the WWE Championship between the 4 horsewomen, Sasha, Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte. And it will also be for the title of the best horsewoman of all time.
Okay.
Now, next match is going to be the battle of the big bad, so to speak. Awesome Kong versus Nia Jax.
Ooh, okay.
That's something a little different, right? I figured I'd throw that in there. I'd like to see a special referee match. Trish Stratus and Lita with Mickie James as special guest referee.
Okay.
That'd be interesting. Bring back the old rivalry. Then I would go probably. You gotta have. I feel like Masha Slamovich has proved herself pretty well, so I'd like to see her in a hardcore match. Now this is where I struggled. I was like, who kind of fits that style, right? I think Jordynne Grace. I think she's
so run that
before,
back.
So I would like to see that again. And then you got to have a tag team match, right? So I would have Roxanne Perez and Julia, because they were together for a little bit on the main roster. I'd have them back together. And then I would have Stephanie Vaquer. And this was the hard part, too, because like who do you put with Stephanie Vaquer? It's kind of a newer person, right? I would actually have Tiffany Stratton. I think it could be an interesting mix. And you get Tiffany Stratton on the show. This is assuming there are no titles at this time. And then I guess as my opener, that was the tough part, was the opener for me. Because I had the main event, I had the big one. So I had
it's a hard one for him. You ain't lying.
It was. It's the hardest one because the opening wanted to be kind of flashy. So Toni Storm.
Camera's over there.
Toni Storm. And I would have her.
See. The camera's over here. Look at the camera. Don't look at me.
I can see the camera. So I have Toni Storm, and I'd have her defend the AEW championship against Rhea Ripley.
Okay. All right. Well,
Anthony Brown going crazy in the chat.
I know. He must be drunk. What's up, A-Beezy?
Happy belated birthday.
Yeah, happy belated birthday. All right. So as we go to wrap up the show tonight,
we left out Sol Ruka.
We left out Zarya. We left off Sol Ruka. We left a bunch of people.
Morgan. Did anybody mention Liv Morgan?
I did. Yeah, I did.
I left her out because she's hurt.
I put China on there. She's a little bit more than hurt. In this fantasy booking, anything.
I had 5 minutes.
Like Sean, anything goes. Mm-hmm. For all the jokes we made about Wes's awful fantasy booking of Evolution. He did mention Lola Vice, and it's somebody that we probably should have mentioned. Next week, we're going to ask you all. I'm giving y'all plenty of time right now. Next week's question, one of next week's questions of the night is going to be: we're booking WrestleMania 50. Who's going to be in the main event, men's and women's, both nights? We'll do that next week. But I want to do a little something on here for you all because I've been waiting for this a little bit, and I believe we're gonna start having sponsors. Our friends at Cap Go Championship Belts are eager to sponsor us once again, and our friends at I6 Ticket Fulfillment. So what they do is they're the ones that make the souvenir tickets for all the big WWE pay-per-views and stuff. And I reached out to them because for the Royal Rumble, I did select I wanted to purchase the souvenir tickets. Couldn't find that option for the WrestleMania tickets. The Las Vegas Raiders completely screwed me out of my money. To hear that Chris Williams sat 40 rows closer and paid the same amount as we did was no bueno. And I didn't get a souvenir ticket. But they sent me my tickets in the mail, and I'm going to open them up. I haven't looked at them yet, so we're going to open them up. And before anybody says that this isn't one of those lame unboxing videos, even though I've listed this as unboxing.
Tom Jeffries, who's Brooke Monroe? I mean, I know who he's talking about, but I believe it's Balake.
Oh, nice. Laminated card. This is pretty for dope. Sunday. So this is Sundays. I can't wait to add that. Please make this. I got 3 packs, so I don't know what's in the third one. Ooh. It could be a sponsor treat. I'm not sure. Second one. Oh. Same deal. Nice and shiny. We got Tiffany and Charlotte on there. Saturday, April 19th, I was there. And it's got the whole card on the back too. That is freaking awesome. I6 tickets. Go to the number 6 tix.com. And so the I don't know how many were made, but I got number 1,135 on night 2. And for night 1 and night 2, I got number 26. So, Sean, garbage. Not the sure garbage. But what is in this?
I want to drink whatever Anthony Brown is drinking.
Oh. Got a kitchen magnet. So we may raffle this off. Because I don't wait a minute. There's 1 magnet or 2? No, 1 magnet. I was there. Saturday, April the 19th. We may and it's the second one made. It's number 2. So we'll Sean's like, ugh.
I'm laughing at Anthony Brown.
Is he still drunge?
He's doing Sweetwater, Texas. Then he put some emojis up that I can't tell what they are. And then sweet unboxing video.
Shut up, Meg. Replace Tiffy with Sol Ruka, and you got it? Okay. And you want to mention, I called her by her actual name, Mariah May, and AB, number 2. And add to block list. All right, so now we won't see any more of his come up. Listen, we appreciate you guys tuning in to this new program that we've been doing. This is the 4th episode of it. We're going to continue to do it all summer. Not sure how far it's going to go in advance, but you all are showing us right now with the amount of people that are tuned in. Brooke Monroe, that's crazy. And y'all know we're going to mess with you, so it is what it is. Let me pull that off the screen. Number 2, shut up. But again, we hope you all enjoyed tonight's show. Join us on July 2nd as we formally add a new member to the team. Sean, turn around and grab that new contract that we have for our new talent. who is actually currently doing the unofficial OVW podcast show, and we've pulled all their viewers from, so we're happy for that. New contract, official talent contract. As you can see, it's all on the up and up. We got the page here where we all sign. All of us has to agree and sign. And one of the caveats says that I will not refer to him anymore as Krispy Kreme. And then page 3 says, unless I slip up. So that's what we got. So it's
there isn't going to be a special table, is there? Because not contract signing, he's going wrestling.
Oh no, nobody's going through my table up here. I paid too much for it.
No, that's an episode of Shibby Will Do.
That's an episode of Shibby Will Do. But for Joey, for Sean, myself, and Sean's libido that is non-existent, until next time, who's last? We'll see you at ringside. Where's the video?